Well, there it is. You may be wondering what the balance changes are, or were, in the most recent patch for Warcraft 3 1.33, which is still currently on the public test realm, because it mentioned changes for ranked, profiles, and leaderboard, and there was also a mention in there about campaign, but we didn't really know what it was. But Cam has enlightened us. The 1.33 campaign balance update. So he says, Locktar campaigners, I thought you'd all enjoy a detailed breakdown of the changes implemented in the 1.33 Reforged campaign, which you can now play on PTR. In addition to what is listed in this thread, you will notice some visual updates to the maps as well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So this thread has loads of people asking questions for more information. I'm just going to basically bring this to you. I'll give you the link as well in the video description below. But essentially, we're not going to go over all of this because it's the entire notes of the changes. But generally speaking, Cam said that too long didn't read. The entire Reign of Chaos campaign was heavily rebalanced, with TFT getting a much lighter touch because it was in better shape to begin with. So the vast majority of these changes affect Reign of Chaos, with only a few affecting TFT. So it's the patch that Cam's team was working on, and that's sort of halfway made, or at least finished this part of it before they split up, because as we know, the original team disbanded, so that's why we didn't get like the features that were still supposed to be coming to Warcraft 3, such as, you know, ranked and profiles, custom campaign, all that business. Like, it's 60%-ish done, whatnot, but yeah, I think the new team that has taken on board is essentially copy pasting what was done by the old team, so it's interesting to see what they're going to do once they get to the point that they get to the end of what the old team did. Does that make sense? And then they have to kind of fill in the rest themselves. So will they be able to do that? Cam says all campaign changes were and are only for Reforged, so you'll only notice these changes if you're playing Reforged itself. And the AI files were updated so they behave differently, and there are some terrain changes. So in the campaign itself, the terrain is different, and the AI will basically probably be smarter in most cases. So there were adjustments to not just including more units, because as you can see, this is his philosophy as he approaches it. So easy should be story mode, players should require minimal RTS experience and one hand rule, not even playing with the other hand. And then normal should be like players should be allowed to make mistakes with minimal punishment, and then hard, obviously players get punished big time if they make mistake, and they've got more stress to deal with gold and sort of like playing around bosses. So you can see RSE prologue level 1 normal, 2 times null and 1 times null poacher, replaced with 2 times null brute and 1 times null ASEAN at camps. So adjustments to essentially creep camps or including more creeps, and what also how the game is received from the player's perspective, like the narrator voiceover sort of not interrupting whilst you're essentially doing a creep camp and stuff. So that's probably a good way, at least on the first level, to sort of allow the players to get the information from the narrator, because he's like, right click to go to this location. You know, he's sort of trying to tell you how to play, but you can interrupt him by just sort of like moving on to the next objective very quickly. So increases to units, just sort of like enemy AI has level 1 weapon, armor, and improved masonry upgrades, which did not exist before. So there's adjustments to sort of improve the actual sort of original design. A lot of cases where things weren't necessarily working, like there's adjustments to like heroes not using their abilities, because it said one of these adjustments was like a Dreadlord not using 2 of the abilities he actually had, probably just using the sleep ability but not using Carrion Swarm or whatnot, or Infernals. So going through all of this, you can see just how much has actually changed. So if you were interested in playing Reforged campaign again, wait until 1.33 is live, or you can perhaps do it, I assume, on the public test realm, but I wouldn't risk doing that because they shut that down, don't they? They don't always make it accessible. I'm not sure. I don't think they do. So I would wait until 1.33 goes live, and then if you were fancying another rego on Reforged campaigns, particularly ROC, then you might notice a few differences. And by might, I mean you will, because look how many adjustments have been made. You will see, or at least feel like things are different, and probably hopefully for the best, because the adjustments are to make the gameplay more streamlined according to what difficulty you're playing as well, be it easy, normal, or hard. So you can see hard here, enemy AI starts with level 1 armor and weapon upgrades, whereas they wouldn't do beforehand, so maybe it was too easy beforehand on that difficulty per se, but making them start with 1 extra armor just means that you have to work that much harder. So it's pretty much the gist of it. It was just a quick video just to let you guys know, because I didn't know myself what the patch notes were in reference to regarding the campaign. So if you want to find out, then click on the video description below and there'll be a link to this thread where you can sort of participate and ask any questions you have for the campaign, because it's absolutely tons. But finishing off, we'll just take a look at the adjustments for Silvermoon. So this is the ROC campaign beforehand, and here it is now. So you can see some bases have more fleshed out environmental sort of architecture vibe to them, so the design here makes it look a lot less empty. When you go back to the other one, it looks a lot more sort of empty in between spaces, because they didn't quite finish things. I thought this level was weird when I played this. This was the one that stood out the most. I thought the Dalaran one was pretty good. That was really different, and there was a lot of different play styles as well, gameplay styles, mechanics, as well as the terrain. But when I played this one, this was like the Silvermoon. You fight against like the dude, I think Sylvanas' brother or something, I don't know, or her father. And yeah, it looks much better here, definitely. It feels like it's more of an actual city in this location. And little things like that can make a much bigger difference to your atmospheric feel and the immersiveness of the actual campaign. But yeah, if we just go, what's it, Warcraft 3 forums 1.33, should be this one. So you can see you got ranked play, leaderboards, player profiles. You get kind of descriptions, but then Reforged campaign is just numerous tuning and balance adjustments have been made to multiple campaign maps. I suppose that's a pretty succinct way to say what it is that I have said here. It is generally speaking. At least you did get that information. But you didn't quite know what it was they did. Obviously, they can't give you all of these patch notes because that would be crazy. Well, they could, but they don't necessarily. But yes, this was basically all the adjustments that they made. All of this stuff. But they could have maybe like given a little bit more information as to like Cam's philosophy, as he mentions in those patch logs. His approach, the approach to making campaign more difficult. But there you go. I thought you guys would be interested. I was interested. He let me know yesterday, so I wanted to make a video. Otherwise, I would have included it in the 1.33 video. But like I say, I didn't include it because I didn't think there was much of any information here other than just we made a few changes. But when you look through this, you can see just the actual depth of the changes, so it makes much more of an impact. So yeah, this was all work done whilst Cam was there. So this is what I'm referring to again, is that issue of what did the team do, the new team, once they use up all of the old content? I made a reference to like Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones was really good until they had to start adapting and creating new content themselves. And they could no longer rely on George R.R. Martin to finish the books and give them the material they needed to feed off. Then, it went downhill. So they don't have that much of a job though. I mean, that's the narrative of a TV show, so it's not exactly the same comparison to Warcraft 3 and just finishing off the features. We know what Warcraft 3 needs. We know what Warcraft 3 could also do with in terms of wish lists, although I'm yet to create my own one. Whether I ever will do, I don't know. But yeah, we've got ideas at the very least of what the Warcraft 3 requires, because you can just refer to the base game. That would pretty much give you a good idea. But yeah, what will the new team do? Will they just go AFK? Probably yes, once they've put in the minimum features that were promised way back in 2020. Thanks for watching. That's it. Just a quick video letting you know. Thumbs up, subscribe. Have a good day. See you later.